Okay. Thursday, March 19th, 2026. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the regular business meeting, again, March 19th, 2026, of the Board of Supervisors. Everyone, please stand for the pledge.
Take the roll. Chair Charles.
Here.
Vice Chair Newfigleis.
Here.
Supervisor Darby is absent. Supervisor McFarland.
Here.
Supervisor Knights.
Here.
And our student representative, Maya Frazier.
Here.
Thank you.
Great. Prior to tonight's business meeting, the board held an executive session to discuss personnel matters and litigation. All right, on to really good presentations tonight. I'm very excited. We have several presentations, and we're going to start with Myth Acton School District updates from our student representative, Maya Frazier.
My printer died, I'm sorry. Last month, Myth Acton students did a walkout showing support for our communities in opposition to ICE and its actions in the community. Nearly 300 students participated in the walkout that lasted for 30 minutes and earned support and praise from our community and its leaders. The organizers then met with Rep. Joe Webster to talk about policy and how it impacts students and their safety. The organizers of this walkout plan to move forward with organizers from other districts to push for legislation that protects students and their families. This movement is separate from the school. Arcola Intermediate School performed its annual musical Beetlejuice the second weekend of March. Each of the three performances saw a huge turnout, making it a very big success. Also in the arts, Myth Acton High School's AP Art students showcased their work at Shenandoah last Friday. It was a closed exhibit, but students were able to invite their friends and family in addition to the Shenandoah residents. Myth Acton Art Department received a lot of praise from attendees, and many students either sold their original artwork or prints. Senior Alex Webb has moved up to a National Merit finalist. Students who qualify for merit have scored exceptionally high on the PSAT in their junior year. They then have to pass through rounds of quarterfinalists and semifinalists with students across the country. So this is a very, very big accomplishment. Lastly, Myth Acton schools and offices will be closed tomorrow, March 20th.
Great, thank you. Next up, we have Chief Jackson for the promotion of Officer Eric Honig to Corporal.
All right, good evening. So we are going to be promoting Officer Eric Honig to the rank of corporal. This position will fill the vacancy created when Jeremy Bonner was just recently promoted to sergeant. So Eric's going to be promoted after another competitive process. I feel like we have done 15 of these in the past month. But it's a very competitive process that involves a leadership assessment, a written examination, and an oral board panel, which is made up of three different command staff officers for actually three different agencies. So I'm very pleased to promote Eric Honig to the rank of corporal this evening. Eric, if you want to come up real quick. Yeah. I'm going to come over here. So I'm going to read a brief bio about Eric, and then I'll read his promotional certificate, and I'm going to invite his wife, Stephanie, and their gang here up to pin his badge onto his uniform, his new badge onto his uniform. Eric Honig is a graduate of Plymouth White Marsh High School and attended the Montgomery County Community College and California University of Pennsylvania before entering the Montgomery County Municipal Police Academy, where he graduated in November of 2012. Following his academy training, he began his law enforcement career with Reading City Police Department, serving in the Uniform Patrol Division. Officer Honig joined the Lower Providence Township Police Department on March 2nd, 2016, and has served in the Patrol Division throughout his tenure. He is an active member of the Central Montgomery County SWAT team and the Montgomery County Drug Task Force, bringing specialized training and operational experience to both regional initiatives. Within the department, he serves as a field training officer, a bike officer, and the designated officer in charge for his patrol squad, which is a reflection of his leadership, reliability, and strong operational judgment. He has been recognized for exemplary performance with both a life-saving commendation, a unit commendation, numerous letters of commendation, and he was honored as the 2024 Officer of the Year for his outstanding service, professionalism, and commitment to the community. Steph, you want to come up? Come on, boys. You want to come on up too? All right, the certificate of promotion reads, "To all who shall see these presents greeting, know ye that reposing special trust and confidence in the fidelities of Eric S. Honick, I do hereby appoint him on this 19th day of March, 2026, to the rank of corporal with the Lower Providence Township Police Department, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. He is hereby authorized and empowered to execute and discharge all and singular duties of his office and entitled to all rights, privileges, and benefits thereof during his good behavior." She's got her hands full. She did it. So, Eric, I just want to say congratulations. Job well done. I wish you the best of luck in your new position, and it's a well-deserved promotion. So we're very excited for you. Good job, bud. You guys did a great job. Great job, man. Yep, cool.
Great. Thank you, Chief, and congratulations again to Corporal Honick. Appreciate you being here with us and sharing this moment. All right, if Valerie is here from the James John Audubon Center, for our next. Yeah. Oh, did I? I'm so tired. John James Audubon Center. I also switch things sometimes.
Hold for a second to-
Yep. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
one sec. Sorry.
All righty. Can you hear me? Is that all right?
Yeah, just why don't you wait a second so they can.
They're gonna clear the room.
It's a tough act to follow.
Great.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Next, John James Audubon Center. Valerie Peckham is here, the Public Programs Manager, to present to us.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. Thanks for having me. As Sarah mentioned, I'm the Public Programs Manager over at the John James Audubon Center. And before I get started, how will I? Okay, go ahead. Before I get started giving you, I'll let you know what's happening with our programming, and I'm here to just kind of like talk you through some of the things that we have coming up. But I'll just give you a quick overview for anybody who isn't familiar. So we, John James Audubon Center, are one of two centers that are part of the of Audubon Mid-Atlantic, which is a regional office of the National Audubon Society. Audubon Mid-Atlantic does its work across Pennsylvania and also in Maryland, and we are one of two centers. The other one is the Discovery Center, which is down in Philadelphia. You all know about the site, John James Audubon, all the trails and everything we have, and of course we've got our great museum that opened just before COVID. So as I mentioned, we are part of the National Audubon Society, and the National Audubon Society's mission is to protect birds in the places they need today and tomorrow. For the past 50 years, birds have been in decline. A report came out a couple of years ago stating that something like 3 billion birds in North America have been lost. And so the work that we are doing is to bend the bird curve, as we say, basically to sort of change that trajectory, largely through habitat conservation. And the work that we do is parsed out into the 3 or 4 buckets that you see there. Habitat, also we do a lot of work on climate action and climate change, policy, and community building. Audubon Mid-Atlantic, to sort of have like a little bit more of a streamlined version or localized version of the mission, is that we are striving to slow down and reverse the impact that climate change and habitat loss have had on the wide range of bird species that depend on the Mid-Atlantic region. Same 4 buckets that everything goes through. That last one, the community building bucket, is really where the work of centers begins. Centers is really, we are the public-facing arm of Audubon, and it's the opportunity that we have to share the work that we're doing and to get people excited and engaged, and also to, build our audiences, work with partners, and all that kind of stuff. So we're really kind of like, front lines as far as the work goes. So I figured what I'd do is I'd give you a little bit of a breakdown about how we do our programming, the areas. So we've got, programs that are geared towards adults. I think, Sarah, you've been to our Birds and Brews. That's one of the things that we do. We also have family and general audience programming. A lot of that is workshops, things that have, hands-on, takeaways, that kind of thing. Youth programs, that would be our K through 12, as well as what we describe as next generation. We do internships and fellowships for college-age students. And we also do community science programming, and that is the sort of public participation and data collection, monitoring. Climate Watch and the Great Backyard Bird Count are 2 examples of community science programs where people are really able to get out there and use methodologies to record data and to share that in ways that Audubon then uses to, sort of assess trends and see what's happening with birds. In 2025, we did 42 programs, worked with 7 different partners, and welcomed a little over 2,200 participants to those programs. That doesn't count the visitors who have come to the centers. That's just the number of people who have attended programs and workshops that we offer. The picture up there of the dancer is from our Community Day program, which happens in September. Always a good time. So for this year, it's my giant pictures or not? There it goes. We're actually, it sounds funny, but we're kind of going to be having more of a hyper focus on birds. So really kind of, what we're trying to do is think more about, how we can move people along. We have introduction to birding programs and things like that, but it's all, we repeat them, but we want to be offering people like more ways to get involved, like how to level up and how to get involved in all different kinds of ways with birds. We want to increase people's comfort and curiosity, with birds and bird habitats, and trying to create those spark bird moments. That's a popular question people are asked in the birding world. Oh, what was your spark bird? Sort of the thing that really kind of triggered you to be like, wow, birds are cool. And of course, we always want to deepen engagement with the conservation work that we're doing and hopefully enable people to take action. So specifically, I mentioned the introduction to birding. We'll be doing birding by ear programs, monthly bird walks, owl prowls. A couple of things to highlight. We do a birding by canoe program, which we are going to be partnering with the township on for the August version. That's usually May through September. Super excited. So that'll be a sort of a combo birding by canoe and movie night. That should be really fun. Philly Birding Weekend is something that the Discovery Center has been doing for the past couple of years. That's really very much all about people who are in urban areas, getting them out there to bird and sort of highlighting the fact that, you don't have to be, out in a rural forest somewhere to be able to enjoy birds. And we're expanding that this year, and we're going to be doing one of those in Norristown as well. So, and then, super excited about this. So we're piloting something called Brought to You by Audubon. brought to you by Audubon, is essentially a marketing campaign where we're, again, trying to like pique people's interest in birds and get them excited about Audubon and introduce a little bit of a fun factor. You know, Audubon, if you've heard of it, because a lot of people haven't, but, you know, those who have, you know, and just birders in general, you know, have that kind of very stereotypical older person kind of image. And we're hoping to expand our audiences and have, you know, sort of younger people, 20s, 30s, 40s. So brought to you by Audubon will be kind of off-site, like a lot of activations that are kind of surprise and delight moments, unexpected ways to sort of get people excited about birds. And one of the things that we're going to do is create these binocular stations and work with different partners and places where, you know, birds are likely to be. It could be a restaurant that has a courtyard someplace, you know, the township, we've talked about that, different corporate offices, community centers, and just have like a few pair of binoculars, some field guides, you know, things that kind of explain what it is, and just, you know, QR codes, of course, to get people involved. But, so like I said, this is something we're going to pilot this year, and it'll build and expand probably over the next couple of years. So from the visitor, I figured I should let you know too a little bit from the visitor experience side of things. We are actively doing a lot with, and we're refreshing the exhibits inside the museum. So have you all been there? Has everybody? Okay, so so we have a new staff member who is sort of in charge of all the collections and things like that, and so she's been doing a lot of work in this area. So we're going to be, you know, updating a lot of the different core exhibits. We're going to be doing a little bit of a deeper dive on John James Audubon, the man, being able to tell a little bit more of an inclusive story of that, of him. It's not up here, but we're also doing a lot of interpretive signage on the trails, trailheads, you know, kind of trying to bridge that gap between people who come to the center and are walking the trails, but don't necessarily come into the building, and sometimes vice versa. And so we really want people to, you know, to know who we are, to know, you know, what's possible and how to, you know, get involved with us. In terms of the art exhibits, Heather is also working with a lot of different local artists in the area to do these temporary art shows that are featured for a couple of months at a time. They're always, you know, of course, celebrating birds. We've done it now, I guess this is the third one is going to be opening. No, this will be the fourth one. We did one with Sakate as well, like that was together with the Community Day event last year. And sort of, whoever the artists are, this stuff is on view in the house, in the historic house, as well as in the museum itself, like usually in the basement. So this one coming up features these three artists. The opening reception is April 19th. You're all welcome and invited to come from 1 to 3. I have to say, so that top one, that's Field Notes is the name. Field Notes, Learning to See, I think is the name. So that's Yvonne Love's collection. And that's actually, she's got this big, huge binder volume of field notes that her parents had done in the 80s. They were big birders. And so she basically photographed actual field notes that have all sorts of, you know, scribblings about what their parents saw and everything else, and then, you know, drew, you know, made that into art and created art with that. So as part of the opening, we're going to be doing some nature journaling that morning, and so, you know, kind of trying to like build some activities around the opening of the art exhibit and get people excited. But that's just an example. Like I said, there's every, you know, this one will be up through August. And then, okay, yeah, so we've got the Motus Tower. You guys might have seen that. So Motus Tower are basically radio telemetry. It's a part of a global network of radio telemetry systems that is collecting data, whether it's birds, bats, even butterflies, dragonflies, dragonflies have little tiny tags that are attached to them that ping if they fly within a certain radius of these Motus Towers. So, Gary, I just like, But anyway, yeah, it's like, it's mind-blowing. So you have to go, it's usually like 9 to 12 miles or so radius whenever a bird goes by. So these are all over the world, and so we put ours up a couple of years ago, and yeah, so the Motus Tower is out there, and some of the data, that's one of the data sets that informs this other tool we have, the Bird Migration Explorer, which Audubon launched a couple of years ago. Basically it's a way to visualize bird migration. There's actually like a calendar, like a tick on the bottom that you can, so you select a species and you can hit the thing and it'll just show the movement of entire populations of that bird, like all throughout its migration and through the flyway. There's different layers of like conservation challenges, and there's all sorts of ways that you can engage with this tool. In fact, at the moment, we have a couple of kiosks where people can utilize it. We're also in the process of working with National to develop sort of like standardized displays that centers around the network will have, featuring the Explorer, and also a lot of different ways to actually take action and interact with it. But yeah, it's a super exciting tool. And like I said, the data, like Motus data, Christmas bird count, which is community science. There's a lot of different data sets that go into creating the tool and keeping it up to date. And that's in the lobby, front lobby. And the last thing I guess I'll mention is our advocacy efforts. As I mentioned, in the beginning, policy is one of the 4 big buckets that we sort of break all our work out into, and so we're always, trying to share that information with visitors and get people involved. We do a lot of these postcard campaigns. This one on the left is Local Communities and Bird Habitat Stewardship Act. It's just, this is a very, we're very nonpartisan, and the ask is to basically, for people to write to their representatives, both senators and their representative. Doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat. We're asking people to support it. And we don't have one up yet, but this other one, Wild Resource Conservation Act, that's a state bill. Top one is federal. And that amends the existing act that will protect native insects, spiders, and other terrestrial invertebrates, which of course are a huge food source for a lot of birds. And the reason I have that picture up there, this is like so cool. So that is a purple martin nest thing. It's something that's boxed. Like they actually call them gourds. They're sort of all like around really like 70, 80. It's very tall, and we'll be installing that in a couple of weeks. Just like sort of there's a meadow that's behind the house, like towards the perkium, and it's a great spot for them, very open, and they need to be near the water. This is actually part of an initiative that the Pennsylvania Game Commission has funding to raise awareness about the importance of purple martins and also chimney swifts, 2 species of birds that rely on like artificial nesting sites primarily. So anyway, so we'll be putting it up, and the cool thing is that we had purple martins on ping the Motus Tower in the fall, and this Wild Conservation Act is to support more native plants to help protect the insects, which is of course the purple martin's primary food source. So it all goes together. So anyway, that postcard will be out on April 19th at the opening of the art show, and the thing will be up as well by then. So anyway, that's the gist. A lot of different stuff. Yeah, any questions? Or?
Yeah, this is really I feel like it's spring. I mean, you're bringing us into the warmth and spring. No, thank you so much. Do you have anything planned for July 4th weekend for the 250th? So you try to get anybody in town to go to the center? I'm just curious.
Yeah, nothing in particular.
Okay.
We're doing little things. I will say this art show that's opening, one of those 4 artists created something called a witness tree. She went around and we kind of like did like an inventory of the trees on the site. And there are trees that are like 200-300. In fact, unfortunately, the tree that fell on the cottage, remember before, like a few years ago, that was almost 400 years old. That was, I think, the oldest tree. But anyway, she went around and she photographed like the bark, and she's created this piece of art that has incorporated aspects of the trees on the site, and it has to do with the 250th. That's why we're doing that.
Okay. And
Did you have another question?
go ahead. Terry.
Okay, sorry. And so the opening reception is April 19th, 1 to 3, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Good.
No,
Okay.
I had more of a silly question. What's the most unusual bird for the area that you have seen at your center or just like in Lower Providence?
I think, we had, let me think now. I don't know if it's unusual, but, having like pileated woodpeckers. I think
I've seen them.
You've probably seen them,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I don't know, I think that, I wouldn't say they were unusual, but I think that they are like inspirational.
Special to see.
And
Right.
My dad
incredible.
tracks them in a journal. He gives me a call every time.
Yeah, yeah, they're sort of breathtaking,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You actually intrigued me with the transponder or whatever that you're able to put onto a dragonfly. Like, how far does a dragonfly fly? Like, what's its range? Like, any idea?
Yeah, well, they do migrate. Butterflies migrate, and dragonflies do migrate. In some cases, monarchs go down as far as into Mexico. So, I think it depends on the species. I'm not 100% sure how far the dragonflies go, but longer than you would think, for sure. Yeah.
So just a couple of questions. Just right away, thank you for the presentation. It continues to remind me of that valuable resource that's within our township, that it's hard for people that are not involved with birds don't always know it's there as well as they could. Do you still do the weddings that are, and that was one of the largest fundraisers for the Audubon Society, I think. You're still doing that, I presume.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if you, just because I'm curious, you have other public meetings in that space? Do you use that for, to draw others in for other things?
The county is having something this weekend, actually. But yeah, you mean public meetings like this kind of thing?
Well, we did have, I don't know how long ago it was, I was trying to think, 7 or 8 years ago, right after the new building opened, we did have a board meeting there, invited the public, and they were able to walk through the museum. Which brought a lot of attention to I think that might be something to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a beautiful space. There's plenty of room for the meeting, and we draw more people, so that's good. And you will draw people who may not have otherwise attended. So that.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah, absolutely.
And because we took our grandchildren there a lot, you don't have those little canoe things in the summer? Do we go up the Perkiomen River?
Yeah,
and
we
back?
do. We have the birding by canoe program. They're on specific days.
Okay.
So May through September, so from 6 to 7:30. It's a program that we have a third-party outfitter who comes and is sort of like in charge of the safety aspects of things, and then we have a guide who's able to talk about the birds and.
Yeah. Well, when we did it, it was very enjoyable, and our kids really enjoyed it too, our grandchildren.
Yeah. And whenever we do the combo movie night with you guys, we're gonna have like shorter versions of the birding by canoe. So there'll be, I think, 3 different sessions that people can come and and do that before the movie starts.
Thank you.
Great.
Real quick, you mentioned the event this weekend. It's the county's inaugural Montgomery County History Symposium. Is the event this weekend on Saturday. It's like an all-day event, 9 to 3:30.
Yeah.
It's kind of to kick off the 250th anniversary. So.
We have a bird walk that morning as well,
Hey, it's going to be packed.
from 8 to 10.
Beautiful day.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Valerie. You obviously love your job, and we all appreciate that
Yeah,
greatly and all the
thank you.
information.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Next up, to continue with the spring theme for the meeting, Evansburg State Park, the park manager, Beth Hare. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite. All right. So again, I'm Bethany Hare. I am the park manager of Evansburg State Park and Fort Washington State Parks. We are the only two Pennsylvania state parks in Montgomery County. And then there's Norristown Farm Park, which is kind of leased from the state. It's operated by the county. So we kind of have a bit of a tie with them, and we actually do some joint programming with them. They're a good partner to have in the county. So I have been with DCNR for over 10 years now, and I have been the manager here at Fort Washington and Evansburg Complex for over 5 years now. So it's been a fun time, and lots of different things going on administratively at the park. But a little bit about both parks and some things that we have are recreational opportunities. I'll tell you about. I don't have, unfortunately, a fun little presentation for you, visual, but I'll talk a little bit. So a little bit about Fort Washington. I know that's not in your realm, but we do manage it. We're a complex together, and our staff are split between both parks. Fort Washington State Park is 35 minutes south of here, nearly 500 acres, lots of day use activity, picnicking, events being held there, fishing opportunities. It is stocked by the Fish and Boat Commission. Lots of hiking, some short hiking opportunities, and it's very much a green space within a very suburban area. And we have lots of locals that come and use the park for their daily dog walks and all that. And it also has a bird watching platform because Fort Washington is located along one of the fall migration pathways. So I don't know, maybe I just call it like a mini Hawk Mountain. We do have volunteers that sit on the Hawk Watch deck every fall and count the birds that go overhead. And 2 years ago, they had one of the biggest counts that they ever had. So we're hoping for the same. Fort Washington also has historic Revolutionary ties. Washington's Army was camped there before they went to Valley Forge in the winter of 1777. So we do also have that tie. And we also have an organized group camp where folks for Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, civic groups can come and camp out at the park. Now on to Evansburg, probably what you more care about. Evansburg is about 3,300 acres. We span 5 different townships, and it pretty much encompasses a good portion of the Skipback Creek from the headwaters up along the Toamenson down to almost to where it vacates into the Perkiomen. Lots of recreational opportunities at Evansburg as well. With that 3,300 acres, we have a lot more woods and rural areas for hunting and fishing. We do have an ADA fishing pier that's in the southern area of the park. We have our day use area, a couple day use areas, lots of picnicking. We have pavilions. We also have an organized group camping area. So again, groups can come and camp out. And it's host to lots of different events, publicly and private events that come and reserve the area. Anything ranging from like 5K races. There's an annual Evansburg Challenge that is hosted at the park, and it runs on the 5-mile Skipback Creek Loop Trail. There's Delaware Valley Orienteering Association often does events, and those types of things. They're not hosted by us, they're not run by us, but they're hosted by outside organizations at the park, and some of them are available and open to the public. But then we have lots of people doing like weddings and family gatherings and lots of picnicking, personal, private opportunities at the park too. We have 7.5 miles of hiking trails, that's foot trails only. And then we have an additional 15 miles of horseback trails and additional 5 miles of mountain bike trails. And any of those are open to foot traffic as well. Also at Evansburg, we have within the park, it's Sebastian Riding Associates. They are a therapeutic riding barn. They provide a really good service to the community with the therapeutic riding, and they are located in one of the leased properties within Evansburg State Park. We also have a golf course. So the Skip Back Golf Course up in the northern quadrant of the park is Skip Back Golf Course, and they have a really nice golf course, full size, and they have the driving range and the restaurant. So they have a very nice opportunity there for those who want to go golfing. Let's see. Had some other thoughts. And we do also have historical societies located in both parks. So we have Fort Washington Historical Society, and then in Evansburg we have the Skip Back Historical Society, and they both lease buildings in the park and help provide a historical service to the community as well. And Skip Back Historical Society has an annual event in late September, October every year as well, like a revolutionary encampment. As far as events go, we have limited programming that we as a park hosts. We don't actually have an educator on staff yet. It's one of my goals to eventually get there. But we do have staff that can do some limited programming. We also partner with other organizations and kind of lean on some other educators with like the Pennsylvania Game Commission, Norristown Farm Park, like I said. We partner with them and try to bring some more educational opportunities and interpretive and recreational opportunities to the public. Some of those in the past have been nature walks, stream restoration, birding hikes, and we also work with volunteers at the park, and we aim for habitat restoration. We do have long-term bluebird cavity nesting volunteers that come out every spring. Throughout the nesting season, they come out and they check our bird boxes that are in through the park, and we collect data on successful nesting, what types of species are using those cavity nesting boxes, and it's a long-term monitoring citizen science kind of project, which is really cool. Some other things that we have going on at the parks. Later in the year, we have been doing an annual partnership with Girl Scouts, taking part in Girl Scouts Love State Parks in September, and we've been trying to offer programs for them. Last year, we did some hikes. Years before that, we did some tree planting down at Fort Washington, and we look forward to continuing with that partnership as well. Some other things going on. Coming up, the Perkiomen Watershed is hosting their stream cleanup. And so I know they're going to be in the greater area, but they will be doing a stream cleanup within Evansburg State Park as well. Again, it's an outside agency doing this, but it's benefiting the park. And they will be coming, I believe it is in a couple weeks. I forget the exact date off the top of my head. And then we have trout season coming up. And that's popular. Trout stocking will be happening with the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, and they have 3 stocking dates in Evansburg. Park staff will go with them and make sure and they get access to where they need to go. And Fish and Boat Commission also welcomes volunteers to come out and assist with that. It's fun. You get to get a bucket of fish. If you've never done it, I encourage you all to go out. It's fun for kids. You get a bucket of fish and you literally just heave ho into the water. The fish fly momentarily as they reach the water. It's fun. So March 28th, Mentored Youth Trout Day is happening. And then April 4th is the statewide trout season opener. And so Evansburg State Park, as I said, is stocked. And there's lots of popular places in the park that people like to go fishing. All right, I think I've covered pretty much everything. Are there any questions?
I do have a question. A resident asked me about this, and so I'm going to ask, is there a deer management program in Evansburg State Park? I mean, a lot of the communities have issues with deers, and so they were asking about Evansburg State Park.
So we don't have a specific deer management program for Evansburg State Park, but it is open to hunting, and we do have, I don't have specific numbers of how many hunters come in and how many deer come out, but we do have a good number of hunters that we see throughout the deer hunting season.
Okay.
That go in there and, bring out a certain number of deer.
Call the herd a bit.
Yeah. So it is, and it's one of the reasons why Evansburg is open to hunting. We have a little bit more tracts of wood, bigger tracts of woods, and property for folks to hunt. And we are special regs area, so
Right.
it is shotgun only. And but yeah, it is open to deer season.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a quick question. The park itself is a state park. None of it falls under the auspices of the Game Commission. Is that right?
No, Evansburg State Park is entirely owned by the Department of Conservation, Natural Resources, and State Parks. We don't have any state game lands.
Good.
But we do work hand in hand with the Game Commission officers and the game wardens during any hunting seasons. If there's a problem, we contact the game wardens, and they come through, and we work hand in hand with them.
Thank you.
Question on the deer management. Do you also allow people to hunt doe, use bow and arrow?
Yes, archery is permitted,
Yep.
And as long as they're hunting within the appropriate season and they have the appropriate tags, following all the rules set by the Game Commission, that is permitted. So bow and arrow, and then the special regs firearms.
Yeah, and just thinking about Val's presentation on the birds, one thing I've learned, because we had to do a deer management effort in our neighborhood, is when the deer are overpopulated, they eat all the vegetation, and then that throws off the whole ecology. So there's fewer smaller animals, insects. The birds don't have anything to feed on.
Absolutely.
So it's actually quite detrimental, to the ecology to have too many deer.
Yeah, and that's been studied in a lot of different places. I've seen it firsthand. The difference at Valley Forge, say, for example, with the before the deer cull started, and then afterwards you start seeing, within a couple years, like trillium started popping up, and then you start seeing all these early spring wildflowers that were never seen before, and the forest regenerating. So yeah, that is definitely a fact.
Great. Quick question. Do you have native trout in the creek there, or is it mostly just the stock?
It's mostly stocked. I
Okay.
don't believe that we have any native naturally reproducing population in the
Okay.
creek. I don't think the temperatures of the creek can support native trout
too warm.
populations. It's fairly warm, and I don't think it's if it's spring fed from upstream, it doesn't stay warm, or it doesn't stay cool enough down that far.
And are there any, you might not be able to share, but if there's any future plans the state has, DCNR has for the park? Any changes or?
As far as any big changes, there's nothing really to report on that. I mean, we don't have any plans to make any big changes. And obviously, if there were, there would be, big public meetings and stuff like
yeah,
that.
of course.
We are, we have our park management plan. We review that with all of our, upper management every few years, and there's no big changes. We're just continuing with what we're doing and trying every year to, adapt and revise and keep doing what we're doing and try to do it better every year.
Another question. Near Fern Avenue,
Yes.
if you're walking downstream, there's a quarry and there's some, like a trailer. Is there like a commercial operation going on there?
Yes, so
Okay.
that is the Berto Brothers Quarry. They do have an agreement with the park. It's actually a very long-standing. It existed before the park was a state park. So, we're talking about in the 70s, this transferred over. And so, yeah, they do currently have an agreement with the park. They don't do a ton of active quarrying there. But yes, it is a currently active.
And I know when I've gone down on that section of the park, like the main park area is like very well manicured and everything. I know down in that area, some of the roads are a little bit rough. If you ever had an opportunity to do anything down in that end of the park, it'd be most welcome to the people that use it.
If you're referring to Fern Ave in that location by the
Yeah.
quarry after the gate, it's more or less an abandoned road.
Yep.
And we've been working, that area coming down off the hill takes a lot of erosion with it. And we've had storm after some of the hurricanes we had. I mean, it's brought trees down across and then, buried it in erosion in sediment. So we keep working on keeping that clear, and sometimes, we got to get big equipment in to push it out of the way. But every time there's a really big rainstorm, it starts to wash stuff out. So we have been working down there in that spot right by the bridge and trying to re-engineer it a little bit and figure out a way to mitigate some of the erosion issues and make it so we don't have to keep coming back and fixing it the same way.
Great, but this was awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Bethany.
Thank you.
And we have the maps. You'll leave the maps in the front for our lobby residents. The
I
guests
leave
can
them up
take
in
them
the front.
home.
So I have some park maps for the Evansburg State Park, and I also have a small pack of these statewide recreation guides. It's got a state map inside, and it's got a list inside about all the state parks in Pennsylvania and what you can do, what kind of recreational opportunities are available at other state parks.
Awesome. I love
Thank
it.
you.
I love DCNR. I love this. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, great.
All right.
On to our consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda includes the following: acceptance of the minutes of the Board of Supervisors business meeting of March 5th, 2026, acceptance of meeting minutes from township boards, committees, and commissions, acceptance of monthly departmental reports for February 2026, approval of the treasurer's report, and payment of bills totaling $1,576,576.62. I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, board comment? Public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. On to old business, adoption of ordinance number 696, amending Chapter 8 of the Township Code Development Committee, and E.J. Mentry, Township Manager, has more.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We discussed this at the previous meeting. This amends the existing Development Committee chapter of our code and essentially changes it to the Business Development Advisory Committee chapter, establishing a new committee for a volunteer committee for the township to be comprised of 7 members, inclusive of 2 supervisors and 5 at-large members to be appointed by the board. There were some changes requested at the last meeting with regard to how the terms are structured. We were able to make all those changes in time to get it advertised prior to tonight's meeting. So this is in a form that is ready for the board's consideration and adoption. And it is ordinance number 696.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 696. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Board comment?
I'm just excited about this opportunity. I think it's going to be a great committee for the township to draw in more business. And as you know, we have a number of buildings that are unoccupied, and we want to be able to fill those with businesses and retail that benefits our community and serves our community.
Absolutely. This is a priority of the board for the year.
I'll just echo that and the fact that we are now including 5 business owners on a rotating basis, I think is a tremendous step in reaching out to the community to get some effective action here. So that's another important piece. Thank you.
Great. And thank you to Supervisors Newfogleis and McFarland for leading this effort. Definitely very excited for this. I'm very excited to see this through. Next on to public comment. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. On to old business, award of 2026 road reconstruction bid. Tim Woodrow and Joe Chilano.
Thank you, Chairwoman. As I've always said, this is Joe Chilano's Christmas Eve. This is the day when Joe gets to award his road contracts. And so, yes, Joe and I opened some bids the other morning. We had a very good representation from some well-known local contractors, a very competitive bidding process. Heidelberg Materials is a low bidder. There were two alternates that we included in the bid spec in case we had enough money to afford 2 additional roadways. Joe, I think if you want to jump in, I think Richie found you some money.
Yes, Jesse did. Just a little bit more, not much, but we are really happy with the bids. We really think we got some good numbers. This is a larger contractor or company that bought a local contractor. They have a proven track record. It's basically DePaul Construction from years ago and Highway Materials. So they've proven to do good work, and we're ready to get started with your approval, and we recommend that they be awarded a contract.
Question, if I may, on this. I was not familiar with Heidelberg. They just bought another local business. Is that how they are on this?
Yes, yeah. Like I said, they bought Highway Materials, DePaul Construction. They're a nationally big company, from what I understand. Their top superintendent for paving came from Myers. I worked with him years ago. And they've done tens of millions of dollars worth of work since I'm maybe around 2018 and up. So
I just didn't see on their website. I see the name of the company is Materials, and the website discusses a wide variety of materials that they supply, but I didn't see anything that talked about application of the materials.
Okay.
Is that something that they recently purchased, or is that a local company they
Peter, it's
bought?
my understanding that the local staff that was always operating Highway Materials, paving equipment, is still around. So I think they are still employed by Heidelberg
That's still-
Materials.
okay.
But I think the Paul Group, they owned the quarries over there on Joshua Road in White Marsh.
Town area, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they've operated, construction crews for a very long time. I believe those same crews are still employed by Heidelberg, and those are the crews we should be seeing in our project.
Okay, so they have been working at least functionally in this area for a number of years, even though it's not named Heidelberg.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, just a couple other quick things. I have this sheet that has a font size of about 2.
I've got a bigger one if you like it.
No, I don't need a bigger one. I just need glasses. But what I noticed that I was curious about is particularly in the areas of 7 and 8, where Sony Drive and Lloyd Lane, the traffic, if I got this right, the traffic control bid by Heidelberg in the case of Sony Drive was $775, and the competitor nearby was $10,770. So the $10,000 difference on traffic control.
I think that's, and Tim could maybe help out too, but how they structure their bid and put their money in the bid and where they put their money in the bid is how they chose to do that. If you look at the overall bid, like we go overall, I think the top 3, Heidelberg, Allen Myers, and Glasgow are all within 10% of the total bid. But yeah, I mean, they're banking on, I guess, instead of putting money in the wearing course or something, they put it towards the traffic control.
Well, they didn't put it toward traffic control.
They did not, but the competitor did.
But your expectation would be that they would perform the same traffic control that the competitors
They have a
would do.
specification that's in the bid spec that they're required. And to note too, we have a mandatory pre-bid meeting before this project is bid out, and I go over a lot of stuff, and that's one of them, and it's in there.
Okay, so these numbers, speed bumps is another one that's vastly different in the competition. And I mean, you can't really have a different speed bump than the one you've specified, right?
We gave them a plan to follow.
Yeah, okay.
They are existing on Lloyd Lane, so we're going to put them back. But there again, how they spread their money through the bid is discretionary to them when they come to the bottom line, correct? You know what I mean? And
That's correct.
Yeah,
and
okay,
they're all within 10%, the
Okay.
top three, so
good, thanks.
you're welcome.
And just to piggyback on that, and on Lloyd Lane specifically, that's one you might want to just pay attention to.
Okay.
As they're doing it, simply because I see like one of the bids there is 66% higher, the last one. It's 100,000 as compared to Heidelberg bidding 64. So, and I see a little more variation in that one in general, so I just make sure they follow the scope, and I'm sure you
We
know how
have
to
a
do that.
representative out there. Yeah, we do the best we can, that's for sure.
Yep. And
Absolutely.
then I think I heard you say that this all comes in under budget, like we have all these funds allocated?
So for the 2026 budget, this is over budget, but there's ample fund balance, and this is all paid through the liquid fuels fund. We started the year off with about a $484,000 fund balance in the liquid fuels fund. So with what we have budgeted, even with this going over budget, we'll still end the year with close to $390,000 of fund balance in that fund. So
It's a small, relatively small percentage variation.
yeah, and it's kind of like this top line number that we're recommending of 746 includes both the base bid and all the alternates doing all that this year. And really, if you don't do it now, you're just going to do it later and probably pay a higher unit cost anyways. So we have the money.
Yeah, and if we have a low bid like this, that's 100, close to 150,000 lower than the highest one, might as
And the
well do
highest
it now.
Correct.
You just say what the liquid fuels fund is in case anybody's
Yeah,
listening.
the liquid fuels fund is state aid that we get. It's a dedicated fund. It's funded essentially through the gas tax, and every municipality in the state gets liquid fuels funding, and it's based on a formula that takes into account population and miles of local roads. It's kind of like a 50-50 split in the formula. That's how our liquid fuels allocation is determined. And we get about $750,000 a year through that. We did get our deposit for 2026, and it actually came in. They provide us an estimate every year in the fall, and we got our deposit, I think, just about a month or so ago, and it actually came in a little bit higher than what it came in. We got more than we budgeted for on the revenue side. So,
Thank you.
Yep.
That's helpful. All right, I'd like to make a motion to award the 2026 road reconstruction bid to Heidelberg Materials Northeast LLC in the amount of $476,192.50. I have too many jobs. $746,192.50. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Board comment? Public comment? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, new business, consideration of resolution 2026-13, approving the Green Light Go Grant application, and Paul Donnelly has more.
This is an exciting grant application that we're going to make by the end of the month for the Green Light Grow program through PennDOT. That's actually going to be also relevant for our Audubon Society friends because this is specifically about improvements at the intersection of Audubon Road and Paulings Road. Anyone who's traveled there going southbound towards the bridge, towards Schuylkill Township, any time between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. any day of the week, it's always kind of a nightmare. So we have been talking with our engineers and trying to figure out a way to put forth a competitive application to basically add a left-hand turn lane for that southbound so that they have a little extra time to clear some of those cars that are trying to get on Audubon Road to then go down and get on 422.
I just real quick, left turn signal, not lane, right?
Correct. Thank you. Left turn signal. So there are some constraints at the intersection, which is there's been a lot of conversation about it because the road is very thin. So the plan is to take what is the traditional 3-light signal there currently and replace it with a 5-section head with a left turn lane. So it'll left turn signal, right? Did I say? Because I keep saying lane. I'm trying to be as confusing as possible.
We would love to have a lane, left
I would
turn
love
lane,
to, and maybe
but
that's
there's not
my.
space.
There's two different things we're trying to do. So we'll add the signal. That should give some extra time for cars that are looking to make that left-hand turn, and we're also going to try to give a little bit of a buffer on the right-hand side so that cars can also more safely pass anyone that's actually taking a left-hand turn, they're trying to go straight down. So in addition to that, we're trying to put in 6 ADA accessible ramps, redo some of the crosswalks. There's a damaged mast pole that they want to move as well. We're trying to do this in coordination with the grant that we got from Monco 2040 to put a sidewalk in from Audubon Road to Lantern Lane. Our hope is that if the Green Light Go grant gives us some more funding to do these ADA ramps, we would be able to put forward toward some of the money that originally was going to go for those ramps from that Monco 2040 grant, and maybe do some other improvements to that area, maybe try to get that path to Mara Field, the Mara complex. So there's a couple different options that we have. Like I said, this grant is due at the end of the month. It's a total grant of about $400,000. The township match is 20%. It's about an $80,000 match. We would actually be able to put traffic impact funds to that, so it would not impact our budget at all this year. So our total request would be somewhere in the $325,000 range. What's really good about this grant is they do expect to have responses to the grant application by July, so it's a fairly fast turnaround. And based on our conversations with our engineers, they said it's a very competitive application. So.
Great, thank you. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-13. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Board comment?
One quick board comment. As you probably know, the Sewer Authority plans on doing work to Audubon Road and also the Audubon pump station down by Rittenhouse. I don't know how far that work is going to extend, but just wanted to surface that.
I will take a look at that. I think it's not close, but
Okay.
it's a good comment, and I'll take a look at that. I don't think.
And I just want to say, someone who lives in Audubon and travels Pawlings and tries to make the left on Audubon Road, I mean, this would be a great improvement. It would make everybody really happy. And what you said about the right, there's usually potholes there, so even if someone's turning left, it's hard to get around them, so that would also be great. So.
I'm trying to manifest a lane, I guess.
Yeah,
in my head,
I get it, but that still would help. The left turn lane, see, now you got me saying it, left turn light. But if you can get around, if that's paved better and you can get around, that'll improve the situation greatly.
Actually, can the idea for this be attributed to me? Because my wife every day says, I hate going through that intersection. And I want to be able to say, hey, I did something.
I have a family member.
All right, any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Next, on to authorization to advertise an ordinance amending Chapter 135 of the Township Code, Vehicles Abandoned. And we have Lauren Gallagher and Mike Brzezinski to explain more.
Certainly. So this ordinance was prepared at the recommendation of township staff. Currently, the township code prohibits the storage of any inoperable vehicle, whether it is covered or not. What this would do is essentially add an exception that if the vehicle is fully covered, people would be able to maintain an inoperable vehicle. It does prohibit the storage of these vehicles on lawns and anywhere that is otherwise inappropriate. But again, we reviewed this with township staff, and so this is just authorization to advertise this evening.
Great, thank you.
Can I, just a question. So when you say inoperable, if it has a license plate, it's operable, even though it's just sitting in the, one car after another in a driveway?
Right. So this is, and I use the word inoperable, but there's a definition of abandoned motor vehicle that's already exists in the code. So there's a series of conditions that qualify a vehicle as abandoned under the code, and that's what this applies to.
Okay. Thank you.
So as I read this, basically, if it does not have a current inspection sticker, then we would consider it not allowed to be parked there.
Abandoned.
It would be considered abandoned, correct, and it's not allowed to be parked on the street or otherwise, yes.
Just as a matter of clarity, this ordinance came up through our code enforcement officer, Jordan McCory, who has to enforce this. Basically, the rule is if it doesn't have a current inspection sticker and registration, then it's abandoned. What we're hoping to do with this new ordinance, along with other municipalities, this isn't uncommon in other places, is to allow for up to 2 cars without the license plate and sticker being covered, so that it's not a nuisance to the neighbors, but it also doesn't mean that you have to pull it as soon as it gets away. We're trying to keep it limited. We're also trying to cut down on the neighbor disputes, which frankly is a big part of this with abandoned vehicles.
It also allows for project cars.
Right, exactly. And there's a few car nuts in this township.
So is it in a private driveway, they can have abandoned vehicles, or vehicles without inspection stickers and license plates?
If they are covered.
If it's covered.
The 2, and it's limited to 2 maximum.
Under the current state of the code, it has to be in an enclosed building, so it'd have to be in the garage. With this amendment, it would be allowed to be in the driveway, but it has to be covered.
Just a covering over it, not side by side, not sides on it, just a covering over it?
That's right.
Like a pole, like a pole roof?
We're envisioning more of a custom car.
Like a grill cover. Like a
Like a-
grill
like a
cover goes
vinyl
over.
Oh, you're talking a grill cover. Oh,
Car sized.
okay, yeah, okay, all right.
So,
Thank
so
you.
I could be working on like 2 project cars in my driveway, for example, that are not registered or licensed or anything. And as long as I covered them up when I'm not working on them, it would be okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So under the violation 135.3, violations and penalties, a fine of not more than $300 and the cost of prosecution, is that $300 whether there's 1 car or 12 cars, or is that per car, or what is that, how would that be applied?
Yeah, that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. We're really, frankly, subject to the DJ's action on a particular case. We, as you know, are rarely interested in the fines as much as covering the legal cost, but we're really looking for compliance. That's, first and foremost.
And fines can be very instrumental in getting that compliance.
It tends to get people's attention, and then we try to, again, get the compliance more than anything.
Okay, thanks.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to authorize advertisement of an ordinance amending Chapter 135 of the Township Code. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any board comment? Any public comment? Yeah, please come to the podium. I think you have to
Come up to the.
come up to the podium. Sorry to make you.
We can bring it to you.
There we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah, we'll bring it to you.
Yeah.
And please state your name.
William Bideman,
It's
82
defined.
westbound Kirk Avenue.
Thank
Just
you.
to alleviate some future disgruntlement, what would define a cover? A resident might want to put a Band-Aid on the roof and say it's covered. Another person might want a tarp that goes from ground to ground. Is there room in your clarification to define said cover?
We did anticipate that question, and the ordinance does address that. So the cover must fully enclose the vehicle and be designed for outdoor vehicle storage.
Okay.
Cover must be maintained in good, intact, and secure condition. It must eliminate the visual impact constituting the violation. And those are the conditions for the cover.
It's actually defined as a commercially manufactured fitted cover designed specifically for the outdoor storage of motor vehicles made of weather-resistant material and intended to fully enclose the vehicle.
Well done. Thank you.
Great, thank you for asking that. Okay, any additional public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, motion carries. On to announcements and meetings. The 46th Annual Egg Hunt will be held this Saturday, March 21st in Eagleville Park. There will be hunts for ages 2 through 8 starting at 10 a.m. The township's website has been updated to make navigation easier. It's a work in progress with more improvements to come. In the meantime, if you have questions or need help locating something, reach out at 610-539-8020. And again, thank you for the hard work on the new website. I'm very happy about that. Planning Commission meeting will be March 25th at 7 o'clock. Zoning Hearing Board meetings will be March 23rd and March 26th at 7 o'clock. Human Relations Commission is April 8th at 6:30. On to courtesy of the floor. Any meeting attendees wishing to address the board, please come to the podium, state your name and whether you're a township resident. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Public comment is an opportunity to share your thoughts with the board. Supervisors may respond at their discretion but are not required to answer questions during this portion of the meeting. If you'd like follow-up, please contact the Board of Supervisors or township staff directly by email or phone. Courtesy of the floor. Seeing none, on to board comments. We'll start at the end.
Thank you, Chair Charles. So I had one here about the sewer work on Audubon Road, but we discussed that already. I wanted to talk a little bit more, just to extend the conversation, about cultural proclamations. I know for the last couple of meetings we've had some discussion during supervisor comments on religious proclamations, and my view is that as individuals, supervisors can talk about anything during their comments. I still feel strongly, for a variety of reasons, a government body like a Board of Supervisors proclamation or something put out by staff should stay away from individual religions. The Establishment Clause of our Constitution and Bill of Rights and the Treaty of Tripoli exist because of problems that exist when governments and religion are mixed. Religion can be used by governments to divide. And just look at the current situation in the Middle East, where our Secretary of Defense is calling the war against an Islamic country a Christian crusade, and that Islamic theocracy calls us the great Satan and calls for the destruction of the Jewish state of Israel. Religion is dividing there. And interestingly, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all center around the same Abrahamic God. And then there's many, many other religions besides ones that fall underneath the Abrahamic God. And depending on where you were born, you're going to have different religious views, and our country is a melting pot. So what I did, though, thinking about some of the comments that were made by other supervisors last week, was I created a proclamation that I'm just going to read here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but just to give a flavor for what I think might be an appropriate cultural proclamation for a Board of Supervisors. And it's titled Proclamation on the Shared Season of Reflection, Renewal, and Human Freedom. Whereas the people of our community come from many traditions, religious, spiritual, cultural, and secular, and each contributes to the common good through conscience, reflection, and celebration. Whereas the arrival of spring and the spring equinox in the Northern Hemisphere has long been a time when cultures and traditions recognize renewal, balance, liberation, and the enduring cycle of life. And whereas the Annunciation, commemorated in Eastern Orthodox tradition, symbolizes hope through the birth of Jesus to the Virgin Mary, and whereas Atheist Day recognizes the freedom of individuals to live ethically and thoughtfully without religious belief, affirming reason, human dignity, and freedom of conscience, whereas Chaitra Navratri, celebrated in Hindu traditions, is a 9-day festival dedicated to devotion, prayer, and the celebration of divine feminine, emphasizing spiritual discipline and the triumph of good over evil, whereas Easter, celebrated in Christian tradition, celebrates themes of renewal, redemption, and hope based on the reincarnation of Jesus to live with the God of Abraham, whereas Eid in Muslim cultures marks the end of Ramadan and is typically marked with congregational prayers and festivities, whereas Holi, the festival of colors celebrated in Hindu and Indian traditions, welcomes spring with joy, forgiveness, and the triumph of good over evil, whereas Nowruz, celebrated in Ba and Zoroastrian traditions, marks the new year and renewal of life at the spring equinox, and whereas Nepiti, also known as the Day of Silence and just ended at 6 p.m. tonight, is a Balinese tradition with roots in Hinduism and symbolizes unity and peace after tribal conflicts, whereas Ostera and Alban Elir, associated with the spring equinox and various pagan and earth-honoring traditions, and I go on for several more, but I think that is more inclusive to reflect on all of the different cultural traditions that are occurring at a point in time than just picking out one religion that truly caused a number of citizens in the township to say, hey, that's not right. Why is government even talking about it at all? So I think it's best if we're silent on it, but if we are going to say something, I think we should include the whole laundry list of all the ones out there so you're not excluding people. So that's my supervisor comment.
Thank you, Supervisor.
I have one comment, reference Easter egg hunt. It starts at 10, but as we go through the age groups, it's all a approximate times afterwards. So starting at 10, and then we just go from age group to age group to age group. So just please be advised of that.
And I'll just comment on that. Pagan religions also paint eggs. So I've learned this as I've been going through learning more and more about religion.
I just wanted a quick, as you know, I'm on the prison board, and I've just begin to give you updates as they go along. I've only been to 3 meetings, and it's, I can tell you, it's a very sobering experience to go into the prison once a month, and the board members, which I didn't know until I got involved, go out with a correction officer at 7:30 in the morning and go and talk to any prisoner that wishes to talk to them. So therefore, you are out into the, I was in the max security last Thursday, which is, on the one hand, a good thing, because if for some reason there was a systemic problem that the prisoners were being not given lunch or whatever, the board members would hear that and that would stop. So, so from that standpoint, it's helpful. It's very difficult sometimes to hear what some of these prisoners are going through, which I'm not saying they shouldn't be there, but it's nonetheless, it's a very, very difficult place, and I hope that we can make it as dignified and human for these people as possible. But it's not much we can do about, you know, the incarceration piece. There are presently about 880 prisoners. There were, prior to COVID, 2,200. So it's down to almost a third of what it once was. So that's still a large number, and about 2/3 of the people in the prison are awaiting trial. So they've been arrested and they were accused of a crime, and they're awaiting trial. Of course, that turnover is fairly high. They go to trial and they either get sentenced or released, and new prisoners come in. The other third is people that have been sentenced to lesser sentences that would not, say, less than 2 years, that would not put them in state prison. But many of the people that are in that prison now, if they're found guilty of the crimes they committed, will be going to state prison when they're finished. So it's a difficult population in the sense that some people are in there for relatively smaller crimes, and they're alongside people that are in there for, have been accused of very, very violent, serious crimes. And it's, you know, it's something that's here in our township, and I'll keep everyone aware. I'm not going to go into any blow-by-blow descriptions, but it's a very difficult place for including for the guards, who also have a very difficult job. But I'll keep you abreast of things that are changing, and we're hoping to make it as good of an operation as we can, which, for the most part, it really is right now. So that's all.
Great, thank you. Thank you for that.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So you're actually like in the yard with the prisoners, or are you like separated somehow, or are you like walking around amongst them?
Well, they're all in their cells during this time period.
Okay, locked up in their cells.
So we would go into, there would be a pod, if you will, of 12 cells, and in the center is an open area with a table. So if a prisoner had requested in advance to speak to whomever the board member was going to be, then in a normal prison, they would be let out of the cell and sit at the table with the board member. In maximum security, you would talk to them through the wire. But they're not out they're not out there.
Great, okay.
Something cheery you want to tell us?
No, no, so
I
many thoughts.
I went ahead of you. Sorry about that, because I had the cheery stuff.
So we go in order. Okay, on to, we have a adjournment, but I will just say we have next meetings, Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 at 6 o'clock. It's a Wednesday because of Passover. So that is why the meeting is moved up one day. And that meeting will have Mascaro here to talk about the recycling program and the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office, which I'm excited about. And then the meeting after that will be April 16th at 6 p.m. And we are all dismissed.
Ms. Strong's way out.
I'm realizing sitting here I left it out of my report.
go ahead.
Warriors Performance Group is a Methacton club. I'm one of the co-presidents this year, but we are focused on social justice and social issue awarenesses in our community. For instance, mental health, but specifically what I wanted to talk about right now is period poverty. That's a very real thing that I really feel does not get enough attention, especially because up until recently, fun fact, pads considered a luxury item. They had a luxury tax, which is, no, it's not right because it's a basic need for women and young girls. And sorry, this is kind of crude. Birth control is not an option for everybody to stop menstruation. So period poverty, it's a very real thing. It affects a lot of people in this community. Which leads me to, WPG is partnering with Mitzvah Circle, and we are hosting a period product and hygiene product drive. Again, back to like the pads and tampons, a box of pads that actually works very well is like $10. You go through about one of those per cycle. So for someone who is making minimum wage, who is also having to work to like maybe provide for a family or provide for themselves, that's just out of the question, and it's ridiculous. So Mitzvah Circle, I know, is always in need of period products. Any local donation charity is, WPG is collecting them, and then we're going to donate them to Mitzvah Circle. Also, at our spring showcase, which is next week, we will be taking money donations, which will also be going to Mitzvah Circle, but hygiene products, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, deodorant, and then also specifically period products, pads, tampons, like all of that stuff, because it's so real and so prevalent in this community. And it's really important to me, and no one talks about it. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Great.
Thank you.
No, thank you for that. I'm very aware of this.
If there's anything that we
Yes.
can like share to like on the website to help
Yep.
spread for the donations. Send me an email.
Yep, you tell us what you need us to do, and we'll support you. Great. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right, now
It was very brave for you to speak up like that as a student in a public meeting, so thank you.
All right. Now we are adjourned.
All right.
Thank you.